Ron Paul is truly one of those people in life who needs no introduction, as everyone in this room knows. The Republican congressman from Texas, Ron has absolutely revolutionized American political life, not only with his time in Congress, but especially with this fantastic and exciting presidential race that he's undergone here. Inspiring people from all walks of life, young and old, all career paths, Ron's campaign has succeeded in doing what we've dreamed of in this movement, and that is bringing libertarian ideas to the forefront of American political debate, not just in foreign policy and civil liberties, but things like monetary policy. I mean, when was the time you'd ever think you'd hear on the mainstream media people debating whether the Fed should be abolished, whether there should be a gold standard? And Ron's campaign, of course, is responsible for that. He's the author of several books, including Challenge to Liberty, The Case for Gold, A Republic If You Can Keep It, and most recent, is so exciting, this book, The Revolution, a Manifesto, which is undoubtedly causing all kinds of consternation in Washington, among the mainstream press, and so forth. And I'm sure, as everyone here knows, it was ranked in the top 10 of the New York Times bestseller list, even reaching the point of number 1, and I think most recently it's down to number 4. And it's really exciting to have Ron back. You know, he spoke at last year's conference, which this is a conference as a follow-up to, and you could sense the rumblings that were starting to take place in his campaign, but it was just sort of getting geared up. And of course, we all thought, this is the rumblings of his supporters and his fans over the years. And little did we know that the rumblings that were going on at that conference were the start of a huge earthquake in American politics. And so it was really exciting when Ron agreed to come back and give us a report on the revolution and let us know what's going on and where we go from here. The title of his talk is A Foreign Policy of Freedom. Please welcome our hero, Ron Paul.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a delight to be here. It's always nice to be among friends. You know, on occasion I give a speech on the House floor. I never get applause like that. So I know there's a difference. But the truth is this last year has gained a little bit of attention from other members of the floor. Now, it'd be nice to say, well, they're all very interested in our philosophy, but you know what got their attention is what many of you helped do, and that was raise $6 million in one day. See, money talks over there, and they talk to me. They're friendlier than ever, Republicans and Democrats, and they want me to teach them how to raise money. How do you use the internet? And they don't have the vaguest idea that it has something to do with the voting record. There was one day, a congresswoman came up to me, and we were sitting there, and she was very, very sincere. And she said, oh, I have a lot of your supporters in my district, and you know I vote the way you do, and all this. And we were in the process of a vote, and the vote up on the screen was like 430 to 1. But she was bragging, and I had to come to her district and endorse her and help her get reelected. And I didn't have the heart to just say, you know, maybe there's a reason. I said, you know, just point up and say, maybe that's what you're supposed to do on an occasion. But that message didn't quite get through. And they think it's a tactical thing. They think it's a technique. And let me tell you, we had a great campaign. We did a lot of good things, but we also had some problems. And sometimes we were disorganized. But sometimes that was a benefit. You know, it was very laissez-faire. And people did a lot on their own, thank goodness, you know, and it was fantastic. But on the Hill, they think that it's all a technique and a tactic and how you use the internet, how do you rent the list, and what do you do and what you say. And the whole truth is that what happened was the message got out. Our philosophy got out. The fact that we were able to get on the debates, made a big difference. And then they would go to the website and they would read this, and then they would come back and say, not only did you say this, and we read this, and we know what you believe, but then we go and look at your voting record, and you actually voted that way. So that was really what helped break us through and get some attention. And so often, I think even this evening already, I had one individual come up and say, you're the best congressman that we have on the Hill. And I said, yeah, but the competition isn't all that tough. So someday maybe the competition will be a little tougher and we can brag a little bit more. But I am always careful to talk about our campaign and our message, and to me it is, and it was really true in the campaign. It was a lot of people came together. So many of you in this room spontaneously sent in money, and I had a couple rules, and one was to have fun, and so many people had fun raising money and spending it too. I mean, they would get limousines and airplanes and blimps and all kinds of things, and they managed, some of them and this really pleased me, they were able to manage it without even dealing with the FEC. So that's pretty good. That's a pretty good achievement, and within the law of the land. So I was very happy that there was a lot of this spontaneous activity and a lot of strong endorsement. But as this went on, I met so many people, and would talk to most of them when we go to rallies, and so many young people. And the crowds are always so diverse, and so often when I get them in, I'll ask you, what is it? What got your attention, and what issue were you interested in? Sometimes it's general, the issue of freedom. Many, many times the young people say, it's the Constitution and you voted that way. And sometimes it'll be, it's the Federal Reserve. We got to get rid of the Federal Reserve. That always pleases me. But the night that really got my attention, early on when we had a debate in Michigan, I went over, and I was a little late for it because of the debate. We went over to University of Michigan at Ann Arbor, and it was a big crowd and big turnout. And when I brought up the subject of the Federal Reserve, I couldn't believe it. How many people started yelling and cheering, and they all broke out these Federal Reserve notes and started burning them. So I knew we were making some inroads, this idea. And the young people especially will have me sign bills, sometimes mostly ones, but fives or whatever. They're a little cautious. But they always want me to sign. They taught me this. I used to sign any place. But they always want me to sign over and cancel out the Federal Reserve seal on the money. So interesting things have happened. But the other day I was watching a video, and occasionally there was a video or two on the internet, and some of them were just fantastic, creative and entertaining, and so much music. And I've always assumed that if a group and a campaign gets going, you will have music, and you won't have to buy it. It'll come, and so that pleased me a whole lot that there was so much music. But the one thing that I was watching the other day was a new one, and it had to do with poking fun at the others for the way they treated me. The laughing and the ridicule. And a lot of people would come up and ask me, how do you put up with that? The truth is I could hardly ever see it or hear it when I was up there. But they started, when I looked at this video, there was a lot. But I think that just shows that they don't have too much in their heads. And that's about all they can do is laugh and ridicule, and because they don't understand. And it's so strange to them. They just can't imagine that an individual could represent a group of people like you and get on a national program and just tell the truth and that's sort of strange. And you talk about monetary policy. How long has it been since somebody really talked about monetary policy? Monetary policy was one of the issues that got me involved in politics very early on. I was studying Austrian economics in the 1960s, and there were these predictions, and also financial people dealing with that issue. Yep. the breakdown of the Bretton Woods, the gold price is going to be released and the value of that dollar is going to go down. And